this is Andy, and I'm going to do a Filemaker Chuumon tutorial. And the one today I'm hoping to do for you will explain how to import an order that you pull down from Edelweiss. So here's the quick down and dirty, the basic steps. We're going to download the file from Edelweiss, and that will be an Excel file. In that Excel file, we're going to rename a couple of key columns, and we're going to unname a couple of columns as well, and I'll explain that further. And finally, we're going to add one extra column, which is the order number, and we'll pull that from the orders database. So once you have those fields set up, we'll go to the orders database. We'll create a blank order for the customer. And down near the bottom of that order, you will see an order reference number. We're going to grab that, and we're going to bounce back to Excel, paste that order reference in for all the line items, copying it or filling it all the way down. We're going to save that Excel file. Finally, we're going to bounce over to the books order database in Chuumon, and we'll import that spreadsheet. So, to begin, let's go take a look at Edelweiss. You should know that when you pull this up, we'll zoom in here a little bit. You should go over the orders tab, and once you're in the orders tab, you should see a listing of all the orders that are available for you here. So what I'm going to do is go down to a workman order right here, and there's a button that says Export Preview. So we're going to click that Export Preview, which will give you sort of the general listing of the order. Then you'll see here we have a download button. I generally leave this on the order form, and then we're going to click Download. And when it brings that down, it'll say, do you want to open with Excel, which is what we do. Okay. And we're going to open it up here. So once you have this file, you'll notice, at least on my computer, it saves it as a read-only file. So generally the first thing I do is File Save As, make sure it goes on my desktop, and I'm just going to call this a test workman order, and I will save it on my desktop as an Excel file. Yes, I do. Okay, so once we're in this Excel file, the other thing that I'm going to do, just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to delete some of these line items so we're only looking at a few, since this is a test anyway. Alright, so here we have the file, the same way that it comes down from the folks at Edelweiss. So there are a couple of key files that we definitely need. We need the units, we need the EAN, which is the ISBN, and finally we're going to add one more that we do need as well. So the other very important thing is to rename the key columns the same way that the fields are named in Chuumon. So for units, this one is actually called quantity. So we're going to call that quantity. And then we're going to tab over to the EAN, and this is actually called ISBN. Now, earlier I mentioned that we were going to unname a couple of files. So title, author, and catalog are all fields that exist in our Chuumon database, but we don't really want to import them here. So I generally just rename these. I'm going to name that one TT, and AA, and then if I continue to tab over to here, the catalog I'd rename CC. Finally, the last thing I'm going to do is in this O file, I'm going to create one more column that's called order number. And we're going to park our cursor there. I'm going to save. Alright, and once that's done, I'm going to back out and go to our Chuumon file. I'm going to go to the orders database. So I'm going to create a new order. This one is for the Island Bookstore. Boom. It's the Main Street location. Select that. And I'm going to do a workman order. I'm just going to call this one as a test PO, not critical at this point. So down at the bottom, you'll see that we have an order reference number. This is what we need to grab to associate those line items with this order. So I'm going to select it, right click, and copy. Alright, once I've got that done, I'm going to bounce back to our Excel file that we have here. Now in this Excel file, I'm going to paste the order number that we just picked up. And what's very important here is that we fill this order number all the way down for every one of the line items. So I'm going to select the area that I want to fill into, Control D for down, or Command D if you're on a Mac. That should fill it in for us properly. So what we end up with is, looking over here, quantity, ISBN, a couple of renamed fields, and at the end, the order number. So in order to import line items, those are the three things we need: quantity, ISBN, order number. Everything else gets looked up properly. All right, so we're going to save this once again so that those changes are the ones that we will import. And then over in my Chuumon folder again, we're going to open up Books Ordered. And the Books Ordered database is where all of the line items live. We don't mess around in here a whole lot, but if we're going to import in line items, this is the place to do it. Unlike a book list import, we don't need to hit Control-J. We're bringing in new stuff. So the steps are slightly different. File, import records from a file. Actually, I'm going to cancel out of that and zoom in for you, just so we know what we're doing here. File, import records from a file. I'm going to look on my desktop. I'm going to pull up this test workman order. And here we go. So the steps are always the same, but the selections will be a little bit different. In this case, we are going to do add new records. We're bringing in new stuff. Normally, for book lists, we do this update matching. In the case of line items for the books ordered, it's add new records. And then this lower selection, which is don't import first record, that essentially tells FileMaker that there is a header row that has this field names in it. So we want to check that. Range by matching names, that's perfect. And then finally we want to look at the fields up above. Quantity to quantity, ISBN to ISBN, and if we scroll down, there's the order number. And you will notice that the TTAA, those things don't match up to anything, which is perfect. We're going to import this, and we have one more screen. In this instance, we do want to check off the Perform Auto Enter. Normally, we uncheck that. In this case, what it does is it uses the ISBN, and it goes over to your book list and looks up the rest of the information, the title, the price, and if there's a title special attached to it, it brings that over as well. So, check this off. Click Import, and it should bring in our items. There we go. 18 items imported, no errors. Say OK. I'm going to bounce back over to the order. So what you will see now is that we have all our line items imported. Everything seems to be there. One thing I notice here is there's a dupe, so I'm going to delete that one. And if I scroll through these a little bit, I see that everything matches up. One important thing you want to look for is if a quantity and an ISBN shows up, but there's no title detail, no title, no price, that means that this ISBN doesn't match anything in your book list. So in that case, you'll need to go check what the title is, probably in the Excel file, and fix it. Finally, if you have a Creel PO, throw that in. If you have promo codes, throw that in. And then as you would normally, you can clean these up. If they don't qualify for the special, I usually remove them. If they're close, maybe worth a phone call to see if they want to up their order a little bit. So that's the basics of this. This will work for any sort of Excel order, as long as you have the three fields: title, ISBN, quantity, and order number. So the steps again: grab the Excel, rename a couple files, unname a couple files, and add the order number. Grab the order number from a blank order, paste it in, and then we import into Books Ordered. That is an Add New Records import, and the auto perform is yes. So I hope this is helpful. You know where to reach me.